everyone, it's Jen from We Were Your Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how to do some surface embroidery using a yarn needle instead of a crochet hook. So it's just a really fun way to add some text or pictures or just some fun texture to the top of your crochet project. So I made a rectangle using Parfait Chunky yarn, which is a category 6 super bulky, and it's also what I used in my pattern for the heart, the love note pillow. I am also using worsted weight yarn on my needle. So what you're going to do is you're going to thread a yarn needle, and you'll need a couple feet, and you're going to decide what to put. So today I'm just going to show you how to make like a letter I right in the middle. So what you're going to do is you're going to start from the back, and you're going to come through to the front of your crochet project. You're going to want to pull through quite a lot. All right, so now you have kind of like this loop made. What you're going to do is you're going to take your needle and you're going to put it exactly through the same spot. And you're going to come out of your next portion. So I did about maybe a centimeter, maybe a little more. It's not quite a whole stitch. And I'm going to pull through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my needle goes on top of this loop. So when I pull it through, you can see my loop is getting smaller and smaller, but I'm coming out of the middle of it. So you're going to want to pull it kind of snug, but not so tight that you can't see this little circle part anymore. And we're going to just kind of keep doing this. So needle goes back in the hole that you just came out of. And then if you're making a straight line across, you're going to come out about the same distance you did before. So for me, it's about maybe a stitch and a half. You're going to pull it. And then you want to make sure that you're actually going through your loop. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine through the loop because it wasn't in there. And I'm going to pull it kind of snug again. So you can see my stitches are about the same size, and that's because I'm trying to make sure that when I put my needle back through, I'm leaving about the same distance of measurement. So I'm going to keep going back through the same hole. I'm going to go ahead and put my yarn on this side so that I know my needle is going through the loop. And as you go, you just want to double check and make sure that this isn't getting flipped or twisted, because that'll change the look of your stitches on the top. So the cool thing about this method is that you can actually start curving. So I could create like a picture, I could create like a script text instead, which is what I did on my pillow. The hard thing is knowing exactly where you're going to go. So I kind of find it's easier sometimes if I'm going to do a funky shape, I can use my yarn to kind of, like if I was going to do a letter S, I could lay it out in the shape of an S, and that would kind of tell me where I need to go next. For this example, I'm just going to do a couple more straight stitches, and then I'll show you how I switch direction and go down. We'll do one more, about the same distance. Okay, so to switch direction on the same letter, what I do is instead of going back through the same hole, I just push it kind of right on the other side to lock it in place, and then I come out where I want to start again. So for this example, I'm going to come out right in the middle of this top one. So instead of creating a new one, it just kind of sits there. So you don't want to pull it too tight or it'll warp your stitch, and it comes out right here. Then you just do it like you did before. You go in the same stitch, you pull. I'm straightening this out because it got a little twisted, and I'm going to make sure I go through my loop. And then we've switched direction and we start going down. And it's okay if sometimes your stitches aren't exactly the same length. Sometimes you can make it look like it is if you don't pull it quite as tight or you pull it a little tighter. And if you do this on a flatter, less fuzzy yarn, you can actually use like a water soluble pen to draw what you want to do, and that'll help. It'll give you something to follow, kind of like a stencil. All right, so here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch direction again, and I'm going to make that bottom of the eye. So I'm not going to go through the same hole. I'm going to go on the other side of that loop, straight down. And then I'm going to come out over here where I want the other part of my eye to come. I'm going to go through the same stitch, making sure I go on top of that loop again. Oop, that one got a little caught. There we go. And next time I would probably do it a little closer to this one, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have to play around with it. And we'll do one more. Okay, so maybe not exactly even, but you get the idea. So to end, what I do is I poke it back through the hole, but on the other side of that loop. And then I'm going to flip it over. And so for this example, let's say I was going to make some sort of pillow or something where the back is going to be hidden. I usually just kind of weave under these back stitches a little bit so that you can't see it on the front. You definitely don't want to go all the way through, or else you're going to see all your messy strings. And I go back to where I first started. So here's my beginning string and here's my ending string. And then what I do is I just cut my ends. And I tie it just kind of loosely. You don't want to pull too tight or it'll warp your stitches on the front. And I just leave mine messy because it's going to be hidden. But if you really wanted to, you could go ahead and weave those under. And then on the front, you have some surface embroidery. So you can be creative. You can do letters, you could do a picture. I just did an eye today to show you how to do it. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Etsy or Instagram or any other platform you find me on. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Happy crafting.